Hey y'all, it's Ashley, and oh gosh, I'm so used to saying Ashley and then my channel name. But hey, it's Ashley, and I'm here today with another review. So I plan to do quite a few reviews while we are running this channel, because I think that reviews are the staple of any book community. It's a way for people to kind of figure out whether they want to read books or not, whether they want to check out the author's work. So I plan to do quite a few. Today we are here to review the Strictly Professional series, or duology, by Christina C. Jones. This is one of her older titles. I believe that the first book was written in 2014. At least that's what it says in Goodreads. Goodreads' level of accuracy sometimes is just not all the way there, but it does say that the first book was published in 2014. So this series consists of the first book, which is Strictly Professional, and the second book is Unfinished Business. So this is going to be spoiler free, so I'm going to talk about it in probably more broad terms than what is expected, but essentially the duology focuses on two characters by the name of Gabby and Terrence. Gabby ends up moving to Atlanta because she's getting away from a toxic ex and toxic parents, and she goes out, and that's where she meets Terrence. These two end up meeting again, and they are working for the same law firm, and that's where we get the Strictly Professional, meaning that they try to draw those boundaries in which they don't want to engage in a workplace romance, and there isn't a fraternization policy, meaning that it would not be against company policy for these two to engage in a relationship, but Terrence has certain goals that he's trying to meet, so he doesn't want to get involved. And Gabby's uncle, actually, I believe, either is like owns the law firm, runs the law firm, something. He's in a position of power, so of course that is very, very tricky. So I would like to start by saying that Christina C. Jones can write her ass off, okay? Like, I love her writing style. It just flows so nicely, and she has a gift of storytelling. So when you start a story, you're kind of sucked in, you're very invested in the characters. You are genuinely trying to figure out whether they're going to make it through their issues. You end up rooting for them, and that's a skill that I think is not as widespread as we may think it is. I think that she just has great just technical ability in the form of storytelling. And she creates these likable characters, these characters who feel very, very real, and they're characters that you can relate to. So there were certain elements of this book that I found really intriguing. Like, it was clear that Gabby was going to have a toxic ex, but then adding like the toxicity of her parents was out of this world. So it set some other things in motion that I was not necessarily expecting from the series. So we basically follow them through their journey of not being able to kind of stay away from each other. They are undeniably attracted to each other, not just physically, but I think that there's this mental attraction that's there too. I think there's this level of respect that is there for each other, and they just can't get past it and get over it. So it was nice knowing that as a reader, I was like, I am rooting for y'all. Just get together, get together, get together. And the two of them are just actively kind of denying it. So you feel like you are this third party that is attempting to root for them as if they can hear you through the pages of the book, which I always like. Now, I don't think I've actually read that many workplace romances, but I like the way that this one was done. I don't really have much to base it off of, so if workplace romances are like this, I think I will enjoy that kind of like as a trope. So going into the second book is kind of interesting because I can't really tell you much about the second book for the sole purpose it literally picks up where the first one has left off. So we're still focusing on Gabby and Terrence, but it is a good bit in the future, and they have gone through some serious issues. So I get why the title of the second book is Unfinished Business, because there are things that they didn't necessarily deal with and things that happen in between the first and the second book in their relationship that they have to fix. So the second book for me was more of a second chance romance, because we see them having to get back to not only where they were in the first book, but move beyond that and truly learn how to trust each other and to appreciate each other. And I think that's probably why I really enjoyed the second one more. I mean, they were both great books, but I think the second one for me was so much character development and there was a lot of maturity. They were adults in the first book. It's not like we were dealing with teens who were in a relationship or anything like that. But I think in terms of what they had as expectations for the relationship matured a lot. They had these goals that they wanted for their relationship, and they both had to come to terms with the fact that they both had messed up their relationship. They had to take responsibility for that. But what I love about this is, regardless of what the status of their relationship was in this second book, there was always that compatibility. It never went away. You once again, as a reader, were sitting on the sidelines like, if y'all would just do this, just get over this and just communicate, you know, we can get back to y'all being in a relationship, because they felt like they were supposed to be together. And for me, in any romance book, I think that is very important for readers to feel like the characters are supposed to be together, that they have that level of chemistry. I always love, though, when an author can take it a step further, and not only do they feel compatible, but they feel like soulmates. They have these ties to each other that no matter what the circumstances are, they want to work through them. They have to work through them because they just are supposed to be together. And you kind of get that feeling with Gabby and Terrence. And there's a lot of outside factors that mess things up or attempt to mess things up, but they can't let go of each other. There is just a level of respect there. There is a level of attraction. There is a level of commitment at the end of the day. And there's a certain factor that definitely does tie them together, but I don't want to specifically say what that factor is, because at the end of the day, it will end up spoiling what the second book is, and I don't want to do that, although it is in the description. But don't read it if you're interested in reading the first book. Like, read the first book first and then move on to the second book. But there is an element that does tie them together and will continuously tie them together. But I think that they still had to get rid of that outside noise in order to figure out where they stood and what they wanted from each other and what they wanted out of their relationship. And, you know, they do work and they are fighting to get towards their HEA. It was just a beautifully done duology. It was really quick. I don't think either one of the books is over 200 pages. I'm like 99.9% sure that neither one of these books is over 200 pages. I listened to them both very quickly via Hoopla. I have found out that there are a lot of Christina C Jones books that are available through my library via Hoopla, so I probably will be listening to more of her books in the future. This is the third. This would make the third book that I've read by her. Yes, I read one and then this duology. Yeah, so that makes it 3. Sorry, I had to do the math. I'm like, how many have I read? So yeah, this would make 3 books that I've read by her, and I am so interested in just exploring the rest of her backlist and everything that she continues to write in the future. She does have a YouTube channel, so if you're interested in checking her out, she does a lot of great things in terms of like giving advice and just talking about things that are very relevant to writers, specifically like indie authors. And I'm not a writer, I'm not an author, I don't really have any interest right now, but I do appreciate her content and I do watch her content, and I think it's really informative, because I am so heavily invested in Black romance in the indie world. And not saying that I won't read traditionally published, but I'm so suckered in to indie published Black love romance. So I love hearing whatever she has to say just about writing and publishing and how she, you know, develops her characters, what research she has to do for some books. I think it's just really, really unique. So if you have not heard of this series and you're a fan of workplace romances that are done very well, if you're interested in books that have like second chance romance as a trope, I would definitely recommend checking out this duology. It's quick, it's fun. You will love Gabby and Terrence, and they are a great couple to become invested in. Alright y'all, so that is it. Quick review. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content from me and Deidra, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit that bell for notification. We will be announcing the date for the next live show sometime soon. I think the 13th of April actually falls on a weekday, which probably is not going to work best for me or Deidra because we both have jobs and it makes stuff like this a little bit more inconvenient during the week. So we will let you know the date and the time for the next live show and the next topic very, very soon. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you're looking out for that announcement, and we will be back with another video soon.